I found it in a box of old VHS tapes at my grandfather's house after he passed. He'd worked as an animator for Nickelodeon in the early 2000s, and most of the tapes were just rough cuts of regular episodes. But this one was different. The label read, "Planktons Victory, Rejected Concept, Destroy Immediately." I should have listened. The episode began with the chum bucket, but something was wrong. The usually cartoonish building looked decayed, with realistic rust stains and what looked like dried blood around its base. The sign flickered in a way that made my skin crawl. Inside, Plankton wasn't his usual comical self. The animation was different, more detailed, more wrong. His single eye was bloodshot, and his movements were twitchy, desperate. Karen's screen showed only static, with occasional flashes of what looked like security footage from the Krusty Krab. Day 2557, Plankton's voice rasped deeper than normal. They all laughed, called me small, insignificant, but I finally found it, the perfect formula. The scene cut to his lab. The walls were covered in equations that didn't look like cartoon drawings. They looked real, scrawled in something dark and red. Among them were photographs of SpongeBob, each one crossed out with increasingly violet marks. "Biology," Plankton whispered. "That's where I went wrong. All this time chasing a recipe, when I should have been studying them. Their weaknesses, their breaking points." The next scene showed SpongeBob arriving at work, but his usual happy walk was interrupted by a strange twitch. He stopped, clutching his head. The animation became disturbingly fluid as his body began to change. His holes began to weep at dark fluid. His eyes bulged. "The microscopic world is my domain," Plankton's voice narrated. "Did they really think I couldn't create something small enough to infect them all? Something that would make them cooperative?" Mr. Krabs was the next to change. His shell began to crack, revealing pulsing flesh beneath. Squidward's tentacles twisted and split. Sandy's suit filled with something black and thick. One by one, the residents of Bikini Bottom transformed into horrible, twisted versions of themselves. The animation quality kept shifting between the normal SpongeBob style and something more realistic, more grotesque. The infected characters moved like puppets, all being drawn toward the chum bucket. "They called me evil," Plankton laughed. "Evil is subjective. Science is absolute. And now they're all part of my grand experiment." The scene returned to SpongeBob, now standing before Plankton. His usual smile was gone, replaced by a blank stare from black, empty eyes. "The formula, sir," he gurgled, holding out a dripping piece of paper. "Oh, I don't need that anymore," Plankton replied. "You see, I've created something much better. A formula, not for food, but for evolution. For power. For revenge." The camera pulled back, showing all of Bikini Bottom transformed into a twisted hellscape. The water had turned red. The buildings pulsed like living things. And at the center, the chum bucket had grown. Its metal walls now organic, breathing. "You wanted to protect that stupid recipe?" Plankton's voice had become inhuman. "Fine. Keep it. I've got the only formula that matters now. The formula for their souls." The final shot showed Plankton standing on a mountain of corrupted bodies. his tiny form silhouetted against a blood-red sky. His eye had multiplied, covering his body, all of them staring directly at the viewer. "Size doesn't matter anymore," he whispered. "We're all small in the end. All just specimens. All just part of the experiment." A tape ended there. When I tried to rewind it, the machine sparked and died. The tape melted, leaving behind a smell like rotting seafood. That night, I noticed a small green dot in my peripheral vision. When I turned to look, it was gone. But sometimes, when I'm almost asleep, I hear a tiny laugh. And my skin, it's starting to feel tight, like something underneath wants to get out. I should never have watched that tape. But now you've read this, and you're part of the experiment too. Can you feel it yet?